So I wanted to address a couple of problems I have with the mental health, I suppose, industry in Australia. Today I went and saw a psychiatrist, and the reason I did that is because I've seen many psychologists over the years, and they just haven't helped me enough. They haven't been able to give me the sort of treatment that I've wanted. And this psychiatrist recommended me another psychologist to go see. But in order to go see that psychologist, I had to go back to my doctor to get a referral to see the psychologist. And if that psychologist doesn't work, he gave me a couple of other people that I should go and see. Now, that's great, but the problem I have is that this process is very, very reliant on me to go back and forth until I find the right person to suit me. And I mean, obviously that's the case, but let's say I wasn't in a good mental state. Let's say I was way worse than what I am, and I had to jump through all these hoops to try and find someone that would help me. I feel like it would be very easy to fall off the wagon and not get any assistance or any help until I crashed and, wound up in an emergency ward. Because, when I'm in a bad place, it's really hard to organize myself to go through the motions and through the bureaucracy and back and forth to doctors and all this sort of stuff to try and find someone that, given my past experience, hasn't been able to help me. So I don't know what the solution is, and obviously there's no right answer. But for me, it feels like if there was a way that there was maybe like a caseworker that could be assigned to people just to check up on them or to help them go through this process. Personally, I don't need it, but I've spoken to a bunch of people that just sort of get lost in the system, and they try one health professional and they don't have that much luck with the person, and then they stop. And they can't handle going through that process again because they've seen that the first mental health professional they saw wasn't helping them, and it's like, well, there's so many steps that I need to now go through that they just can't handle that. And I can fully relate, because for me it was like, well, do you want to go through these hoops again to try and find someone? And because my problem at the moment isn't depression, I'm able to go back and forth and work my way through it. My problem is focus and long-term trauma and sort of processing and coping with that. So because I'm relatively functional, I can go through it. But 3 years ago, 10 years ago, I wasn't able to. I went and saw one psychiatrist years ago. They gave me medication. I tried it for a while. It didn't work. They upped the dose. It didn't work. They upped the dose. It didn't work. And I'm like, well, stuff this. I'm getting off it. So I did. Now, I never went and saw that psychiatrist again, or the psychologist that he was getting me with, and no one followed up. No one called me. No one checked up. I just stopped going. And I, once again, I know there's the financial system and all of that sort of stuff's involved, but I've seen maybe over my life about maybe 10 plus health professionals, and all of them, for whatever reason, I've stopped seeing, mainly because they weren't helping me. And I've never had one follow up and call and see where I'm at and, ask me why I'm not coming in or how I'm going or if I've improved or, maybe I'm dead, who knows? No one's ever actually taken the time to check back in to see how I'm going. And that to me seems like there's a massive gap there, because given the functionality, if people just drop off, and it's hard work to just schedule and organize to book into these things. I mean once again, when people are depressed or really low or not in a good place, it's hard to make a 9 o'clock coffee date with someone. It's hard to get up and shower. And the current system expects this person to go to the general practitioner, their GP. So an arrange appointment, go and see them. Open up enough to talk to that person. That GP has to be switched on enough to recommend them to an appropriate psychiatrist or psychologist. They have to go to that person now, book in, and usually the wait for me to see this one was a month. So now I'm waiting a month to see this expert. And I see the expert for 40 minutes. He does this quick diagnosis, and then he sends me off to someone else. To see that other person, I have to go back to the GP, booking to see that person again. So by the time I find someone that may be able to help me, it's 3 months down the line. Now, let's say I was in a crisis and I'm suicidal. The other option of that is the crisis emergency team, which puts you into, crisis care, which, I don't know, it seems like there needs to be something in the middle there. And there needs to be, I don't know, like a case manager or someone that just checks in and follows up and, hey, how you doing? I've noticed that you've gone down the path of mental health plan. Are you seeing the help you need? Do you need more help? Do you need assistance in this thing? Or just to check in to see how you're going. Because it's not a good thing to put it onto the person who's, by definition, struggling with organizing their life, to need to have high-level organization skills to get this stuff happening. So that's my first issue. And the second issue is that often medication is the first thing that's recommended. And this happened to me years ago when I was 18. I was first recommended to a psychiatrist. And after a 30-minute session, they put me on antidepressants. Now, I just took them then, and I went down that path. But 30 minutes on the medication, and then my general doctor was able to just keep filling the scripts. At the time, that seemed normal and fine because I knew no different. But now, upon reflection, it's like, hang on a second. Surely you need more time than 30 minutes to, diagnose me and prescribe medication to me. And secondly, wouldn't a psychological approach or a social approach be a better first step? As in, if you can talk about it, if you can implement things in life to help you, wouldn't that be a better thing to do initially prior to going on medication, prior to changing the brain chemicals? For me personally, I find that exercise, meditation, socializing, warm baths, walking in the sun, good diet, a whole range of things that I've talked about before, they all help me. But surely it would be better to get people to do those things first before you give them medication that can have a bunch of side effects. Now, this isn't to say I'm against medication. It's needed for a lot of people, and it did help at one stage of my life to help me not kill myself. But as a first resort, or after, just a 30-minute interview, it seems a bit rushed. It seems a bit hasty. So, I don't know, I guess I'm just feeling a bit disillusioned with the whole system here. And I'm really wanting to know your thoughts. What has been your experience? Now, my experience is obviously from an Australian perspective, and each country is different. And I know some countries are better, some countries are worse. So please, what's your experience? How do you handle your mental state? And what changes do you think could be made in your country, or do you think would be the best system in general? Thanks for listening, guys. And if you get something out of this video, please like it, please share it, please comment, and tag someone in it that you think would help. I'm wanting to engage with you guys, and I'm looking for a solution myself because, there really is no right answer to this other than, keep pushing through, keep getting help, see the experts, by all means, go through the system. I guess I'm wanting to suggest that there should be a better way. But if there isn't a better way, this is the best way we've got. So, like I said, if you like this video, please like it, please comment, please share, and let me know what your solutions are. Thanks.